Where will you spend eternity? Is heaven your home? Those are questions with more than one answer. What do I mean? Let's think about it. Hey, my name's Justin Harrell. I challenge you to challenge yourself to think about Let's Talk Biblical Topics. 401ks, IRAs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, managed accounts.
Ooh, now, this sounds interesting.
What's happening to this channel?
Financial investments, planning for the future. How far out do you plan? The average American spends increasing time thinking about retirement. As for actual planning, that's hit or miss. But as people get older, their focus becomes fixated on retiring. They meet with financial advisors. They plan vacations. They move to warmer climates. The pinnacle of all their working years is to finally enjoy life and to relax. That does sound nice, doesn't it? But we're ignoring something important.
We are going to die.
You're going to die. Now, if you retire at 65 and you live to 85, that's only 20 years of your life. And you're not guaranteed a nice retirement. I've known many people that died only a couple years into their retirement. Unexpected sickness strikes. Loss of investments happens. Life is just filled with twists and turns, leaving even the most responsible people feeling a bit unprepared. All that planning, all that preparation for just a few years. What a bummer. If that's all that you were focused on. Imagine cruising down the river in a boat, but at the end, you go over a waterfall. Would you be excited for that boat ride? If you aren't ready for eternity, you shouldn't be excited for the tropical mists. But if you are ready, impending death is not a problem. You'll soar above it all. Nobody knows their date with death. If your eyes are only focused on the here and now, only focused on your earthly wealth and investments, you are behaving foolishly. Here's what Jesus had to say. Luke 12:16-21. Then he told them a story. A rich young man had a fertile farm that produced fine crops. He said to himself,
What should I do? I don't have rooms for all my crops.
Then he said,
I know. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I'll have room enough to store all my wheat and other goods. And I'll sit back and say to myself, My friend, you have enough stored away for years to come. Now take it easy, eat, drink, and be merry.
But God said to him,
You fool! You will die this very night. Then, who will get everything you worked for?
Yes, a person is a fool to store up earthly wealth, but not have a rich relationship with God. It's extremely foolish, one could even say stupid, to spend all your effort planning for retirement, but not for eternity. Where will you spend eternity? That's one way of looking at that question. But there's another way. The issue of heaven is a complicated matter because people ignore eternity on a daily basis. Then the church misrepresents eternity.
Whoa! Shots fired!
The church is fond of saying, this world is not our home. That's true
from a certain point of view,
but it's also misleading. It ignores all the promises of Jesus to restore our planet, his plans to create a new heaven and new earth. As a child, I grew up with the notion that heaven had nothing to do with earth, but this is not biblical. I've talked about this before, so I won't rehash it here. But if you missed it, check out Reversing Position Resurrection. Link in the description. God doesn't just redeem, he also restores. God will restore all of creation at the end of the age. Revelation 21:2-4. And I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven like a bride, beautifully dressed for her husband. I heard a loud shout from the throne saying, Look, God's home is now among his people. He will live with them, and they will be his people. God himself will be with them. He will wipe every tear from their eyes, and there will be no more death, or sorrow, or crying, or pain. All these things are gone forever. Revelation 21:10. So he took me in the spirit to a great high mountain, and he showed me the holy city Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God. This means that the current arrangement of Hades, heaven, and earth is destined to be overhauled. Death and Hades will be thrown into the lake of fire, and heaven and earth will be joined together. They will become one, just like it was at the beginning. So the believer in Christ will spend eternity in heaven on earth. There's something to think about.